Now, 4 months after assuming office, Kenya's new electoral commission faced its first real test in last week's by-elections. Tonight, we examine how the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission performed across the 24 mini polls that were held across those different areas in the country. Let's take a look at this report that was filed by our very own Catherine Omwando.
For the first time since taking office in August, the newly constituted Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission was in the field, running 24 by-elections that became an early measure of its readiness for 2027.
We have zero tolerance on any election malpractice, including violence, because our constitution decrees that elections must be free from harassment, violence, intimidation.
But the mini polls exposed familiar fault lines: late opening of polling stations, scattered violence, accusations of bias, and a striking absence of young voters. Governance analyst Alex Manyasi says the by-elections laid bare how much catching up remains.
Fortunately for them, I think this is a litmus test to just ensuring that they look at the next election now more prepared. I do not expect them to be as prepared for this by-election. One, because they're new, but secondly also because it's possible that they did not anticipate that magnitude of campaign. Even people not showing up to vote because they fear that there might be violence is bad enough. So I hope IEBC has taken stock of that.
When it comes to voter apathy, Steve Ogutu says there is a growing disconnect between citizens and the government.
I think people feel like, okay, we elected this government to serve us, but we still see high costs of living. There's taxes left, right, and center, and life is becoming very unbearable for most Kenyans.
Youth turnout, once seen as a potential force after the June 25th protests, remained low.
I did not expect, and I do not expect, that the young people will actually take up voting seriously. That is something that Kenyans need to know. There's no history that indicates that young people can actually come out overwhelmingly and vote.
And with less than 2 years to the next general election, experts warned that IEBC must urgently address the trust deficit that has persisted since the days of the defunct Electoral Commission of Kenya.
There is need for them to do campaigns around reaching out to citizens and really explaining in details their mandate, and sharing in local communities, so that people are able to really understand what IEBC mandate is.
Kenya runs one of Africa's most tech-heavy and most expensive elections.
Because in the last election, there was evidence that the failure of technology was very minimal. So it's more about the transmission of results and whether the results transmitted are the accurate results, and whether then people can have confidence in the outcome of an election.
Security also remains unresolved, with experts calling for an integrated approach between police, the commission, and civil society.
We have to revamp our security, especially around the elections. We have to provide enough resources for IEBC to protect the voting centers. So it requires an ecosystem approach.
Now it's up to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to close the apparent gaps before the big day in August 2027. Catherine Omwando, NTV.